When Dad introduced her, I thought she was perfect. Too perfect. Her name was Clara, a woman in her early 30s with calm blue eyes, silky brown hair, and a smile that could melt the coldest hearts. She walked into our home carrying a bouquet of white lilies, the same flowers my late mother loved. That small detail was the first thing that unsettled me. I was 17 then, quiet, observant, not ready to see anyone take my mother's place. Dad, however, looked happier than I'd seen him in years. His eyes sparkled when he looked at Clara. He'd been broken since Mom's death, and seeing him laugh again almost felt like a miracle. Almost. But something about Clara didn't feel right. The way she looked around the house that first night, like she was remembering something, like she'd been here before. When she saw my mother's old photo on the wall, her smile faltered for just a second. Then she whispered softly,
"She was beautiful."
I should have let it go. But that night, I woke up around 2 a.m. to the sound of someone moving downstairs. I peeked from the staircase and saw Clara standing in the dark living room, staring at my mom's picture again. Her hand touched the frame, trembling. Then, she said something that sent chills down my spine.
"I'm so sorry. I never meant for it to happen."
I froze. Who was she talking to? What had she done? The next morning, she was all smiles, making pancakes and humming like nothing had happened. Dad kissed her forehead, and I sat there quietly, my mind replaying her midnight confession. Something about Clara wasn't what it seemed, and I promised myself, I'd find out what it was. Days turned into weeks, and Clara blended into our lives like she'd always belonged there. She cooked breakfast every morning, made Dad laugh with her jokes, and even helped me study for college entrance exams. To the outside world, she was the perfect stepmother. But I couldn't forget what I'd heard that night. Every time she smiled at me, every time she touched my dad's arm, I wondered, what was she sorry for? One Saturday, Dad had to leave for a business trip to Chicago. That meant Clara and I would be alone for 3 whole days. I wasn't thrilled. The moment his car disappeared down the driveway, the house felt unnaturally quiet.
"Ethan, I know things have been awkward, but I really want us to be a family."
I nodded politely. "Ethan, yeah, sure."
She smiled, that same calm, flawless smile, and went upstairs. But as she did, a small silver key slipped from her cardigan pocket and landed on the floor. She didn't notice. I waited until she disappeared into her room before I picked it up. The key was tiny. The kind used for a drawer or a small box. And immediately, I thought of the oak desk in Dad's study. The one Clara had insisted no one should touch. That curiosity that had been simmering inside me for weeks suddenly boiled over. I walked to the study, heart pounding. The desk was spotless except for one locked drawer on the right side. I inserted the key. Click. Inside, I found a stack of old letters tied with a red ribbon and a black and white photograph. In the photo, Clara was standing beside my father, but it wasn't recent. It was years before he even met her. She looked younger, maybe in her 20s, and my dad had the same look he gave Mom in old pictures, the same love in his eyes. My stomach dropped. I grabbed one of the letters and began to read.
"Daniel, you promised me you'd never leave. You said she meant nothing, but now she's your wife. How could you replace me with her? Clara."
The she in the letter, that was my mother. My hands shook as I reread the words. Clara had known my father before Mom died. She wasn't just some stranger he met years later. She had been in his life long before that, and that meant the apology I'd heard that night was about my mother. Suddenly, I heard footsteps upstairs. Clara was coming down. I panicked, put everything back, and locked the drawer.
"Looking for something, Ethan?"
My throat went dry, just homework.
"Good, because some things in this house are better left alone."
And then she closed the door behind her. For the first time I realized I wasn't just suspicious anymore. I was scared. That night, I couldn't sleep. Clara's words, "Some things in this house are better left alone," kept echoing in my head like a warning. I stared at the ceiling, thinking about the letters, the photograph, and what they meant. If Clara had been with my father before my mom, then why did she vanish and come back after Mom's death? And why pretend like they met by chance? Something wasn't right. At 2 a.m., I got out of bed and went downstairs. The house was dark, except for a soft glow spilling from under the kitchen door. Clara was awake. Through the half-open door, I saw her sitting at the table, still in her silk nightgown, holding a picture frame. It was the same old photo I'd seen earlier, her and my dad years ago, but she wasn't smiling. Her face was twisted with something between anger and grief.
You should have chosen me, Daniel. You always should have chosen me.
She suddenly placed the photo down, opened her phone, and began scrolling through something. I leaned a little closer and saw what she was looking at. It was an online obituary, my mother's obituary. My stomach clenched.
I didn't mean for it to happen that way.
Didn't mean for what to happen. I accidentally bumped into the counter. A loud clink echoed in the silence. Clara looked up startled. Her eyes darted toward the door. Ethan? I ducked behind the wall, heart racing. Footsteps approached. The kitchen door creaked open. For a moment, I thought she'd seen me, but instead she sighed, turned off the light, and walked upstairs. Once she was gone, I crept into the kitchen. The photo was still there. And next to it, her phone. I hesitated, then picked it up. There were dozens of deleted messages, but one conversation was still visible. A contact saved under unknown.
Unknown. You promised me it was done. He'll never find out? Clara. He won't. Not unless he starts asking questions. Unknown. And the son? Clara. He's just a boy. I'll handle him.
The message was sent 3 weeks ago. I dropped the phone, my pulse thundering in my ears. She wasn't just hiding a secret, she was hiding something dangerous.
Couldn't sleep, Ethan?
I turned around slowly. Clara was standing in the doorway, her hair slightly messy but her eyes calm, too calm.
I just wanted some water, I stammered.
I heard a noise earlier. Be careful wandering around at night. You never know what you might stumble upon. Sweet dreams, Ethan.
As she left the kitchen, I realized something terrifying. She knew I'd been in the study. She knew I'd seen the letters, and now she was watching me. The next morning felt heavier than usual. The air in the mansion was thick, not with warmth, but with secrets. Clara greeted me at breakfast like nothing had happened. She wore a pale pink dress, her hair tied in a soft bun, and that same serene smile that always felt rehearsed.
"Sleep well?" she asked, buttering her toast. I just nodded. I couldn't look her in the eyes, not after what I'd seen last night.
As soon as she left for her morning yoga, I went back to the study. If she had nothing to hide, then why was she messaging someone about me? The old drawers creaked open as I searched again. This time, behind a stack of dusty folders, I found a small silver key. It had the initials CD engraved. Clara Davenport. I looked around, searching for a lock that could match. Then I noticed the floorboard under the desk looked slightly raised. Heart pounding, I pried it open, and found a small, metal box. The key fit perfectly. Inside were 3 things. 1. A wedding photo. My father, smiling, but not with my mother. He was holding Clara. 2. A signed marriage certificate dated 4 months before my mother's wedding. 3. A handwritten letter, yellowed at the edges. I opened the letter. The handwriting was my mother's. "Daniel, she came to me again. She says she won't stop until you're hers. I can't live like this. If anything happens to me, please protect Ethan." My hands trembled. This wasn't just a love triangle. This was something darker. I barely noticed Clara's footsteps until it was too late.
"Looking for something, Ethan?"
Her voice came from the doorway, calm and sharp at once. I froze. The box was still open on the desk.
I just found this. What is it, Clara?
She walked closer, her eyes glinting like glass. "Something that doesn't belong to you."
I stepped back. You were married to my dad before my mom, weren't you?
Her silence confirmed it.
Why didn't you tell me? Why hide it?
Clara sighed, sitting down on the edge of the desk. "You wouldn't understand. Your mother, she took everything from me. Daniel, the house, even my name. I loved him first, Ethan, but she played the victim like she always did." Her tone turned cold. "I came back for what was mine."
What does that mean? I asked quietly.
She smiled, a small, chilling smile. "You'll see soon enough." She turned to leave, but stopped at the door. "Oh, and Ethan, if I were you, I'd keep this little discovery between us. Your father doesn't need any distractions while he's away."
Then she was gone. I stood there, shaking, staring at the open letter in my hand. In that moment, one thing became clear. My mother hadn't died by accident. And Clara knew exactly what had happened. Sleep abandoned me that night. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw my mother's face. Scared, fading, whispering for help through that letter I found. By sunrise, I had made my decision. If Clara had secrets, I would uncover them. The morning routine went on like nothing happened. Clara hummed softly in the kitchen, the sound of her voice too calm, too gentle, like the surface of a lake that hides something deep beneath. She was leaving for her yoga class again. I waited 10 minutes, then grabbed my keys and followed her. The road curved through misty hills until she stopped at a small cottage on the edge of town. Not a yoga studio, but an old abandoned florist shop. I parked a few meters away and watched from the shadows. Through the cracked window, I saw her. Clara was talking to someone, a tall man in a black coat, his face mostly hidden. Their voices were faint, but I caught fragments. Clara. He's starting to suspect. Man, then end it before he digs too deep. Clara. Not yet. I need him to trust me a little longer. The man stepped closer and touched her cheek. Intimately, my stomach twisted. Was that the same unknown from her messages? And what did she mean by end it? I ducked lower as she suddenly turned toward the window. My heart pounded, my breath trapped in my throat. After a few minutes, they left separately. I waited until both were gone, then broke into the shop through the back door. Inside, the air smelled like wilted roses and dust. There was a table with scattered papers, a few photographs, and one name that caught my eye. Daniel Davenport, my father's name. One photo showed my dad and Clara, laughing, young, carefree, standing in front of this very shop. Another was of my mother, ripped down the middle. And then, on the back of one photo scrawled in Clara's handwriting, "The past can't stay buried forever. Neither can she." When I got home, Clara was already there, cooking, smiling, acting like everything was normal.
"How was your day?" she asked.
I stared at her, the images from that cottage flashing in my mind. "It was enlightening," I said. She smiled softly. "Good. I'm glad you're finally adjusting to living here." Adjusting. That word hit me hard. Adjusting to living with my father's murderer. That night, I couldn't take it anymore. I logged into her email, guessing her password, Daisy1989. It worked. There were dozens of messages between her and the man I saw earlier, someone named Victor Hale. The latest one read, "Tomorrow night, make sure Ethan stays home. I'll take care of the rest." My chest went cold. Take care of the rest? What did that mean? Suddenly the front door creaked open.
Clara's voice echoed through the hallway. "Ethan? What are you doing up so late?"
I quickly shut the laptop, pretending to be reading something else. Just couldn't sleep.
She stepped closer, her perfume filling the air. Soft, floral, suffocating. "You should rest," she said, brushing my cheek lightly. "You look tired. You need your strength." Then she leaned close, her voice barely above a whisper. "Tomorrow will be an important day."
When she turned to leave, I sat frozen, every nerve in my body screaming. Tomorrow, whatever was coming, I had to be ready. The next morning, Clara was different. Her smile was sharper, her tone too calm, her eyes unreadable, like she was waiting for something. She made breakfast, humming softly like always, but I noticed her hands trembled just a little when she poured my coffee. She placed the mug in front of me, leaned forward with that soft, practiced smile, and said,
"Drink up, sweetheart. You'll need your energy today."
Something in my gut told me, don't touch it. I stared at the steaming cup, then pretended to sip. The smell was off, bitter and metallic beneath the coffee aroma. I waited for her to turn her back, then poured it slowly into a napkin under the table. The liquid burned through the paper like acid. My heartbeat spiked. She was trying to poison me. When she left to pick up groceries, I followed again, but this time, I kept my distance. She didn't go to a store. She drove straight back to that abandoned cottage. I parked a block away, grabbed my phone, and sneaked to the window. Inside, Victor Hale was waiting. They were arguing. I could hear it clearly this time.
"He found the letter. He knows too much."
Then we finish it tonight. I'll handle the body.
"No, I want to do it myself. He deserves to die by my hands."
Her voice, the same one that once called me son, now sounded like ice cracking.
You're losing control, Clara. Remember why we did this. Remember Daniel.
That name again. My father.
"Don't say his name. He ruined everything. He killed her, Victor. My sister was supposed to marry him, and he left her to die while he built a new life with that woman. And then with me."
My knees went weak. Her sister? My mother was her sister. It all snapped into place. The resemblance, the timing, the way she looked at me when she thought I wasn't watching. Clara wasn't just my stepmother, she was my aunt, and this entire marriage to my father had been a twisted revenge plan. That night, she acted as if nothing had happened. Dinner was set, candles lit, soft music playing. Her eyes glowed faintly in the light, and when she smiled, I saw madness hiding behind grace.
Let's eat, to family.
I didn't drink. I went by the old florist shop today. Yeah, it's funny how many memories are buried there, like photos of my dad and your sister. She went pale. Her hand trembled around the glass.
Then without warning, she stood, violently. The glass shattered against the floor. You shouldn't have gone there, she whispered. You shouldn't have known.
She reached into her apron and pulled out a small vial, the same one she used that morning for my coffee. I backed away slowly, heart thundering. Why Clara? I demanded. Why me?
Because every time I look at you, I see her. The woman Daniel chose over me. The woman who died because of him. And I can't bear it anymore.
She lunged forward, but before she could pour the vial into my drink, headlights flashed through the window. Sirens. I had sent an anonymous tip earlier, with the recordings from my phone. The police burst in seconds later. Clara froze, eyes wide, breathing hard. When the officers grabbed her, she didn't fight. She just looked at me, a long broken stare, and said softly,
You have her eyes.
Then she smiled one last time, tears streaming down her face as they led her away. I stood in the silence that followed, surrounded by the wreckage of lies, love, and revenge. The next morning, the detective told me Clara confessed everything. How she had married my father to get close to him, how she planned his accident, how she raised me not out of love, but out of guilt and obsession. And yet, a part of her had truly cared. That was the worst part, because somewhere between her hate and her pain, she had learned to love me, in her own twisted way. 3 weeks after Clara's arrest, the house felt like a museum. Cold, still, filled with ghosts. Her perfume still lingered on the curtains, her voice still echoed faintly in the halls when the wind pushed through the windows. I had packed most of her things, but one drawer in her room stayed locked, the small antique one beside her vanity. Part of me didn't want to open it, but curiosity, or maybe closure, won. I forced the lock open with a screwdriver. Inside were dozens of letters tied with a crimson ribbon. The top one was addressed to me. Ethan, to be opened after I'm gone. My throat tightened. I sat on the edge of the bed, unwrapped the ribbon, and began to read.
My dearest Ethan, if you're reading this, I have already paid for what I've done. I need you to know something before you decide who I was. I was never meant to be your mother. That much you already know. But what you don't know is that I was the one who saved you. The night your real mother died, it wasn't your father's fault. It was mine. I followed them on their trip, drunk on hate and jealousy. When I saw them argue near the cliff, I only meant to scare her. But she slipped. I screamed for Daniel to help, but it was too late. He never told the police. Instead, he married me, to protect me and to protect you. I hated him for it. I loved him for it. And I spent every day trying to make sense of both. When he died, I told myself I'd make peace by taking care of you. But every time I saw you, I saw her eyes, her laugh, her soul. I thought killing you would set me free. But the truth is, loving you was the only thing that ever made me human again. Please, don't let my sins define your life. Don't carry my hate any longer. Clara.
Tears blurred the words. For so long, I had seen her as a monster. But reading those words, I realized she wasn't born evil. She was broken, twisted by grief, love, and guilt until she didn't know what was real anymore. I closed the letter and stared at the rain outside, falling against the window like the night everything began. Then, I made a decision. I'd sell the house, leave the town, and start over, not to forget, but to forgive. Before I left, I visited Clara one last time in prison. She looked older, smaller somehow. Her hair was graying, her eyes softer. When she saw me, she smiled faintly.
You read it, didn't you? Then you know everything.
I hesitated, then said quietly, I forgive you. For a moment, her mask cracked, tears welled in her eyes. She reached out through the glass, and though we couldn't touch, I felt the weight of years lift between us.
You're more like your mother than you think. She forgave too easily.
And then she laughed, a tired, broken sound that somehow felt like peace. 2 months later, I left the town for good. On the road out, I glanced at the rearview mirror, the old house shrinking behind me, the past fading with every mile. I didn't know where I was going, but I knew who I was now. Not Clara's son, not Daniel's shadow. Just Ethan, a man who finally understood that love, even when poisoned by pain, could still save you in the end.